And we're live, I think. Hey, everybody. All three people who have turned up because I don't make a. I'm not very good at pre-advertising streams like this. It's like, okay, this is the day I feel like doing it. 3 hours. Yeah, that'll do. I'll put a notice out now. But hi, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully, you all had a good Christmas and New Year and fuck 2020 and all this business. How's everyone doing tonight? I suppose it's 7:35ish, so it's nighttime. Yeah, how are we all doing? So it's been a while since I've been on the channel, I suppose. Been a while since I've been doing much of anything, but I've been working on a whole spate of videos. Narratively speaking, they're all going to come out at the same time because let's just say Braggett's been keeping me locked in the closet for a little while. So that's the narrative reason for that happening. But yeah, there's going to be about 3 or 4 videos coming out very soon. 2 of them are going to be reviews. So that's cool, and that's going to be hopefully wrapping up the whole lilac-y subplot that I've had going since 2017, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been working on, and a few things in my spare time. So like voiceover gigs and drawing some stuff. I've just been trying to pick up gigs on the side wherever I can. Yay, it's Embo. Hi. Yay, it's Raiders. Good to see you. Dale's doing good. Hopes I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yes, I took a shot of bourbon before I did this because streaming makes me anxious. Jacob, nice to see and hear you again. Thanks, same to you. It's been a while. I apologize profusely for the I feel like people like JonTron can get away with not posting for months because they have the sheer force of personality and the content to back it up. Where I don't know what keeps you guys coming back, to be honest, but here I am. And yesterday, I watched so many movies yesterday. Me and the husband, for some reason, we sat down and we watched. What was the first one? It was a spate of. I saw all of Disclosure for the first time. I've seen the beginning multiple times, and every time I've had to stop because it's just kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like poor old Michael Douglas, he cannot catch a break. How many movies has how many movies has he been in where some woman just wants him and doesn't respect his personal boundaries? I don't know if this is life imitating art or art imitating life. I believe he has had a stalker in his real life, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Michael, but yeah, for a while, a lot of erotic thrillers in the 80s, 90s kind of era. Disclosure is one of them. Like I said, there's a scene where obviously Demi Moore tries to put the moves on him, and they try so very hard to make it sexy with sexy Demi Moore. But it's very hard to watch because Michael, he says no like 50 times, and that's the point of the movie, I suppose, that, you know, no means no, and it's no less when men say it. But yeah, it is, for all intents and purposes, sexual assault. I know there's a blurry line between consensual and non, but still, it's uncomfortable. What's your most anticipated film of this year? I'm not entirely sure what's occurring, to be honest. Obviously, I don't anticipate the theaters being open the way they used to be anytime soon. The last thing I watched that was, you know, a release, I suppose, was Wonder Woman 1984, I think. You know, the new Wonder Woman release with the dude from Mandalorian and Kristen Wiig as. I could give my thoughts on that. I don't know how many people have seen it, so, you know, spoilers. But it was okay. I hadn't seen the first Wonder Woman movie, so a couple of plot threads were confusing at first, and I don't know. It was okay. I know my dad wanted to see it, so I didn't, you know, totally trash the film when he asked me how it was, but it wasn't my cup of tea. I had to stream. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys see me now? I clicked something accidentally, and the whole browser window just collapsed, unfortunately, so that was weird. Um, yeah, hello Emily and everyone in the chat. Yes, and good riddance to 2020. Yes. On my Instagram, I happened to I was in Party City looking for some props for reviews, and yeah, a lot of decorations that were basically "fuck you 2020," which was nice to see. Well, amusing to say the least. Anyway, so the Wonder Woman thing is the closest thing to a anticipated release that I've seen in recent times. So yesterday I saw Disclosure, which was pretty good. I do like thrillers, erotic or otherwise, from that era. They have a certain it's something to them that just really. Hey Emily, hey Tom. That's a new name, I think. I'm not sure I've seen you before, but welcome to the stream. Dale Squad. Woo! Dale Squad. What's up? What was the next thing I saw? There was a couple movies of just women being absolute vipers, which seemed to be the theme. The next one was The Stand-In, starring Drew Barrymore and Drew Barrymore. So she's this, I guess, some kind of female version of Adam Sandler, like a comedy actress who goes off the rails and goes into hiding after a, couple of scandals in a row. And she has a stand-in who looks very much like her, who, at first it's like, I'll go to rehab for you, and then we'll do an apology and we'll split the money, and I can do appearances on your behalf, no harm no foul. But then this stand-in woman, so she basically starts to usurp this poor woman's life, but she starts by, I don't know, I don't think I'm spoiling very much, but she starts to take over her professional life as well as her personal life. There's this dude that she has, they've met in a woodworking forum while she's been doing her reclusive thing. This celebrity woman, Kathy, although she's professionally known as Candy Black. So they've been talking for about a year, and they're, it's nearly their anniversary. They're going to get together, but the stand-in, just breaks them up essentially for no apparent reason. I guess just to further her own career prospects. And after a certain point, you start to realize, oh hey, I'm definitely on this person's side, and it's not the person I thought that I would be going into it. I don't know. It was it was a little bit twisty turny, entertaining, not a barrel of laughs to be fair, but I don't think it was trying to be that kind of movie anyway. It was I don't know, kind of a cautionary tale, careful what you wish for kind of thing. And I was pretty satisfied by the conclusion. But what we're going to talk about today is me and the husband. We were on Amazon Prime, I believe. I'm sorry if the whole table is shaking. That's me just kicking the table because I'm nervous. So I was supposed to be going to sleep, but then we put on this movie that came out in, let me just check. They came out within a year of each other, and I'm going to get them mixed up. Followed, which came out in 2018. And this is a movie, it's a mockumentary, they both are, the movies I'm going to talk about. By the way, I've dropped a link in the chat if you guys happen to have seen the movies I'm talking about today that are in the title and the description, maybe. Feel free to jump in. I'd love to get a dialogue going, obviously. I don't expect you to have seen this. I don't know if they're very common, popular, even discoverable type films, but yeah, there's a common theme, so I thought I'd talk about them. Anyway, so Followed, 2018. Kick that damn table. Fucking table, you owe me money. Followed 2018. So the premise is there is a YouTube channel called Drop the Mic, headed up by this guy Mike, as you might expect. It's a play on words. He has a professional team, like his friend Chris, director of photography, and an editor, Nicola, I believe her name is, and someone else who does audio, Danny, who she used to be Chris's girlfriend. So it's like, if you come along, then Chris will definitely come along for this endeavor. So he's chasing this sponsorship. I think it's predicated on him getting 5,000, 50,000 more subscribers. And he figures the best way to do that is to exploit some disaster tourism, or I don't know what the name for it is. But the event, so it's a hotel which is haunted supposedly, and there's a couple of terrible incidents that have happened there, and it's clearly based on the Cecil Hotel, I believe it's called. If you've heard of the case of the woman Elisa Lam. She was a Canadian student who obviously she was last seen in an elevator in the Cecil Hotel, pressing buttons in a random order, behaving very strangely. And then a couple of days later, her body was unfortunately discovered in the water tank on top of the hotel. And there's obviously, because of the mystery surrounding it and the strange behavior before she disappeared and was ultimately found dead, the internet kind of picked that up and ran with it. And it was, you know, an interesting thing that you could talk about online. You know, there are channels like Rob Dyke and Scare Theatre that of that ilk, Rainbot, I suppose. Channels like that would obviously talk about it with as much, you know, due respect as they could give. But, you know, there are certain YouTubers out there who, any chance to pick up on a trend and run with it, you know, to make it spooky and to tap into people's, to sensationalize a real life tragic event, unfortunately. There are some people out there who will do that. And I think that's the premise of this film. Like, this guy is desperate for subscribers. Mike, at the beginning, he's kind of characterized as a little bit of a douchebag kind of thing, one of those obnoxious online personalities that is way too into his own brand. So yeah, they're going to this hotel. An event has transpired there, very similar to the Elisa Lam case, on purpose. I think because they can also work in this. I don't know if you guys have ever looked into dark internet rituals. If any of you guys were ex-creepypasta fans, then you might have heard of the elevator game, which is a ritual which supposedly came from Japan. It's a lot of button pressing, and you know, if you do it in a certain order and certain things happen, you can access the shadow realm in a building which must have at least 10 floors. It's a whole thing. And they directly reference the elevator ritual. They partake in it in the movie. And I have noticed online, in the real world, the Elisa Lam case, sometimes they will use the footage of Elisa, you know, in the elevator, her last known appearance. They will use that as like B-roll for discussing this elevator game ritual, which I'm not 100% on board with. I think the whole movie is basically a commentary on the less than scrupulous tactics of content creators, certain content creators, of course. Some of them are more reputable. I think I heard that story. Yeah, it's like I said, it's made its rounds around the internet. Some people are still talking about it. I can understand why people are interested, but at the same time, she's a real person, and you know, she did die, and maybe it's not as spooky as you're maybe hoping that it is. So Mike and his buddies, they go to this hotel, and much like the Cecil Hotel in real life, it turns out this hotel has had its fair share of you know, dark occurrences, murders, etc. So they're covering all this for their you know, 3 days of camping in the hotel. I forget the name of the hotel in the movie. But yeah, they're just milking this for all it's worth. Oh, I clipped my nail on the mug of tea I have here. So that's the basic plot. They're in there for like 3 days, and they're going to do some exploring around the hotel, and maybe talking to people who might have known or been in the hotel when it happened, and building up to this, exploring the basement where this poor girl was found. I think her name was Megan Kelly in the movie. That's our Elisa Lam, basically. So that's the premise. And this movie followed 2018. Of the two movies, this obviously had a very high budget. You can tell there was a lot of production value. These are YouTubers, presumably with a vast following already. So they have drones, they have camera A, camera B, and poor Nick. So basically, what they want to do is have the camera running at all times, you know, just in case anything spooky happens to them while they're sleeping over the course of these 3 days. So poor Nick is having to edit all this stuff in real time for the channel. And understandably, any normal person would be under a lot of stress doing that. I think my husband, who edits semi-professionally, he said this would be more or less impossible. And if you don't know YouTube, I guess you wouldn't pick up on that. But for anyone who knows YouTube, what passes as believable cinematography that YouTubers, you know, their age will be capable of, it's not. It's all movie magic. But There you go. So Nick is under a lot of stress, and they periodically check in on her. And she's getting more than stressed. She's picking up bad vibes, and she's having bad thoughts, and her nose is bleeding. So that's something to be concerned with. So they do this elevator ritual, and something spooky happens to Mike. He sees a girl behind him. He's like, wow, maybe one of my fans has, heard about what we're doing, and they've staged it, and there's all this, that, and the other. They're trying to explain away various paranormal happenings. All the while, the crew is getting more and more upset. Mike finds out via a Skype call that he is going to be a dad, so that's his motivation for finishing the damn thing, getting the sponsorship, because he has to provide for his wife and kid now. His character arc's kind of believable. Yeah, obviously he's a douchebag at the beginning, but you do believe that maybe under that there's a real person who's just trying to make a living. And he and his friends have semi-believable banter. Yeah, pretty satisfying, his character arc, and the acting isn't horrible. I guess you can tell that they're kind of playing to camera, but that could be intentional, like in universe. That's what these YouTubers are doing. I would recommend the movie. Like I said, the production value is very, very good. Clearly, they had a lot of budget to put behind this. So there's a theme as these content creators being a little unscrupulous, a little insensitive. All sorts of stuff happens, and normally, I guess you could say I'm not a fan of like paranormal activity type movies where the ghost. There's clearly a ghost in the house, but for the first 5 days, it's just nudging ashtrays around. If I were a ghost, I don't know why I bother doing that. Why is there a warming up period? Like the movie 1408, if you've ever seen that. Once Mike is in the room, there's a sense that the room is lulling him into a false sense of security, maybe poking at him a little to see if he'll, arrogantly just try and explain it all the way. And by the time he realizes something serious is going on, the room really throws it at him. And at that point, it's too late to escape. For most hauntings, I don't understand the rationale of mild scares, which would send most rational people just, okay, I'm going to nope out this situation, thank you. Obviously, horror movie protagonists, sometimes they stick around for reasons which vary from movie to movie. Sometimes it's just plain stupidity. In this case, there are stakes involved, and maybe Mike is more involved with the previous happenings at the hotel than he knows. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil the movie, really, but ghostly stuff happens. And because the movie is a higher budget, they can, really do some stuff with the good. Years ago, I reviewed Marble Hornets, which, if you don't know, is an internet ARG video series, which runs to about 9 hours if you include all the To the Ark stuff. There's a lot of footage, and a lot of it is just wandering through the trees, kind of building suspense, or just for realism's sake. I hope I'm not rambling too much, and hey, there's some people in the chat. Hey, my husband's here. Hey, Will, that's just what happens to editors, bloody noses. Yeah, I think while we were watching, CP happened to say, I'd be worse if they were asking me to work with like 6 video cards at once and doing this and that, and I have no time to sleep and just get out of my fucking face. Yeah, I would be stressed too. So at that point in the movie, a bloody nose, irritability isn't too much. It's not unbelievable. Where was I going with the Marble Hornets? So that series, obviously, it was one of the first video-based things based on the Slender Man mythos. It was the first filmed thing, and obviously there were subsequent ARGs to do with that, and there've been other ARGs. What's the name of that one where the sun disappeared? It's a Twitter account. I guess it's hard to go back and view all the posts if you weren't with it from the very start, but I think that's supposed to be pretty good. There's this guy going around, obviously in the dark, trying to figure out what's what, and there's things happening outside his house. So that's a good ARG. There's been good ARGs, but Marble Hornets walked so that this movie could also walk. I don't know. It laid a lot of the groundwork, is what I was saying. Yeah, but this is like a found footage. I guess it's supposed to be happening in real time. In the way the movie is framed, someone is it's a screen capture of somebody's computer, and they're watching um, they're watching the footage day by day of Drop the Mic and his friends at the hotel. And occasionally there's people trying to get in contact with us, the viewer, whoever principal character is. Hi, everyone. Yeah, people saying hi to CP. Hi, CP. You want to drop in and maybe discuss? No? All right, he's just going to hang out in the chat. That's fine. Fuck it, where was I? Yeah, so it's very much like, what's another one of those movies? Friend Request, I want to say, or Unfriended. You know, it's the next generation of found footage where it's a screen capture of someone's laptop, and we're seeing in real time people chatting, stuff going on online. So we're watching. It's as if the antics of Drop the Mic have already been filmed, uploaded. We're just watching it through. All the while, people are trying to get through to us with video calls that we're constantly ignoring. That's another layer of intrigue. Yeah, so that laid a lot of the groundwork. So this function, the ghosts in this function a little bit like the operator does in Marble Hornets, which is primarily why I'm bringing it up. There's video distortions, there's characters' irritability, coughing fits, I think I saw. There's chase scenes, there's all sorts going on, there's glitchiness, I think I said that already. A lot of audio video distortions. Again, I think it may have borrowed heavily from Marble Hornets. I wouldn't at all be surprised. The movie seems to be very cognizant of other spooky internet trends and forerunners. And what was the other thing? So that's all interesting. I've lost my train of thought. I'm just gonna... Oh, the air raid siren's going off. We live in Silent Hill, apparently. So Marble Hornets... what was the other thing I was going to say? God damn it, it was right in my head. Excuse me, everybody. We'll talk about the other film in a second and start to compare the two. But let me check my notes. What's going on? This isn't helping me. So it's a mockumentary, and it's supposed to be based on supposedly real events. Okay, so in universe, this is supposed to have really happened. We're looking at it as if, you know, these characters are really experiencing a haunting. Granted, it's a haunting at a hotel that they could easily leave, and some of the characters, you know, come to their senses, but that takes quite a while. Silent Hill sounds fun. Yeah. I reviewed that. That was one of my very earliest reviews, actually. One of my friends, Wesley, helped me out with that because he's more familiar with the games. And yeah, I just watched the Silent Hill movie having not played any of the games. Oh, okay. Hold on. Add to stream. Hey!
Took long enough.
Sorry, I didn't notice. I was fucking stressed out trying to think of the other thing I wanted to talk about.
I was trying to help.
So hello, this is CP. That needs no introduction, I suppose. Am I going blotchy? I think I am. Jesus. So how are you?
You know how I am. Let's just refocus.
Okay. So most mockumentaries, I think there's usually a comedy element, or they don't take themselves totally seriously. Not so with this one. I think it was genuinely trying to lean on the horror elements, which is kind of interesting.
I mean, you touched on it before. It's nothing new. It's just a new twist on Paranormal Activity. Anybody who's uploaded but one video to YouTube can instantly get wiped out of the realism of this movie.
Yeah,
with the crew that he has with 50,000 subs. Sorry,
what they're doing should be impossible, really.
Yeah, Yeah, the crew, the affordability, the just all of it is nonsense. But if you can get past that, which whatever, the amount of different lenses that are being used, cool, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
This sounds like we're being snobs. Like, if you're a YouTuber, you couldn't possibly enjoy this. But
well, apparently they're uploading this stuff in real time, so the editor has to look through one of
Nicola.
3 different camera angles and audio cards in real time and get it uploaded per day. Stop. Just stop. It's not happening.
Yeah. Maybe that's another aspect of Michael's informed douchiness, that he doesn't hire more people.
But yeah, that's the one authentic thing about him. He does have that that YouTube douchebag. Oh yeah, I could see somebody who acts like this being successful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't want to begrudge any YouTubers their success. I'm sure they got it fair and square, but
yeah, there's a bit of phoniness to him.
I'm like one of the hipster YouTube channels. I like to keep it below 2,000 at all times. It's like a very you wouldn't have heard of me. I'm very obscure. Something else that stuck out immediately, and something that these 2 mockumentaries have in common, both Followed and Death of a Vlogger, which we'll talk about soon, is there's like a looping effect. If you've seen PT, or I suppose any of the games that have preceded it, like Resident Evil 7 and that kind of thing, there's like a looping. Oh, I go through this door and it's the same room again, and I go around and I open the exit, but we're back where we started again. So I feel like this movie borrows a lot from pre-existing media. I don't know if it does it consciously, if it's like a wink to the audience, or if it's more just stealing.
Yeah. Borrowing with ill intent.
Yeah. I wish I'd set this movie as homework, because I'd be interested to see if people in the chat, people who are into horror, would pick up on these things, you know, on their own, if it's that obvious. I feel like if you're in a certain sphere of YouTube where you've heard about the elevator ritual and other creepypasta dark rituals, the Elisa Lam case, horror games with this with certain elements, that the tropes that are pretty specific to those things, and not necessarily horror films as we know them. I wonder if it would be obvious, or if most people would pick up on that kind of thing. Tim says, "Hey, Emily, and a guy I never heard of." Why do people do that with you? It's a running joke.
Yeah, I don't matter. That's the running gag.
Oh, it's Mr. Horrorland. Have you? Finally, a YouTube notification that lets me join before 45 minutes have passed. Yeah, I'm really bad at pre-advertising these things. That's my bad. I should have given more notice, but I was excited to talk about this before I forgot everything that I'd watched.
That makes one of us.
Oh, yeah? You weren't excited to talk about this?
Well, no,
you weren't going to forget.
I literally fell asleep on the second movie, so I'm going to be.
Oh yeah, true.
No help.
Well, I don't want to spoil the second one's ending too much, but like I told you, it's ambiguous, which makes it interesting.
Yes, the first one Followed. It's not ambiguous at all.
So by the end of Followed, you get the sense that our crew, what remains of it, has had some kind of character arc, like, maybe all this was a mistake and I'm gonna stick to different kinds of content from now on, and other ghostly tropes happen. If you've seen a handful of haunting movies, I feel like you know what the ghosts are gonna do, etc. Like, do you think they're gonna chase the character and there's gonna be a jump scare and running and maybe he'll drop the camera and that kind of stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's a good movie. Entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah, if you're into horror and you watch people like Rob Dyke and stuff like that, there's a familiarity to it that certainly you're going to want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you're there for a specific reason. So you'll forgive a bit more than we did. I did, whatever. Where I'm like, nope, that's a different lens. Sorry, you wouldn't be able to do that. This movie's bullshit.
Yeah, but the acting's pretty good. The characters are believably douchebaggy, and they have, you know, kind of arcs that you can follow. Looks good. The ghostly effects are pretty not shitty, I would say.
Yeah, it doesn't feel cheap. The second one felt a little cheap.
Oh yeah. So let's move on to the second one, which is Death of a Vlogger, made in 2019. This was made by up-and-coming Glaswegian director Graham something or other. Shit.
Isn't that the guy's name in the movie? Is it?
Yeah, he goes by Graham in the movie, his character. So, premise of this one, it's very cheaply made, by the way. It's filmed like a docu-series, like it's all based on real events, and they'll bring in characters against a grey backdrop to talk to with chirons, whatever you want to call them.
Lower thirds.
Lower thirds, yeah. It's that kind of thing. Which I think you could have done a better job, to be honest. It was very bad.
I do too.
You definitely could. I love Rob Dyke, but I think I heard about that one hotel story from Shane Dawson. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of Shane, but his creepy series, he does, I don't know, he puts on a voice that makes it seem like he's giving it due gravitas, and it is kind of spooky, but
oh yeah, they all do that, which the lack of sensitivity to the fact that you're talking about something that really happened. You know.
People like Rainbot, I feel like they give it due respect, and Rob Dyke, he's doing like a Jonathan Frakes fact or fiction kind of thing. I don't know. I always felt like Shane was very self-involved and like, you guys, I have found the spookiest thing for you. Like, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. Sorry, Shane, if you see this.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
You wouldn't be watching my channel. No.
Shane, you're a hack.
Right. Hungry Boy says, oh, a Scottish lad. Nice. Yes. I don't know if all the cast are Scottish.
Yeah. The one
you had your
girl,
doubts about Erin. Yeah.
Yeah. Her accent came and went, and there's some words where she was dropping hard R's, and I'm like, no, that's not Scottish at all.
I'm not I'm Scottish by blood, but obviously I don't sound like it. And if I were to go up north, you know, to Edinburgh and say that, they would laugh me out of that. But yeah, I have an ear for some of the accents, and just occasionally it felt like her accent would waver or drop entirely. I don't know if that was on purpose or if they got an actress. There's another actress, I think her name is Alice in the thing. She's the debunker character, and they just didn't bother with her. She's English from the sounds of things. She's the one with the haircut that you didn't like.
I don't remember.
The shaved head on one side.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, so the premise of this one, there's a YouTuber called Graham, and he's primarily, like, he does sketches and comedy stuff. He's described as, if he thinks it will make you laugh, then he'll do it. He's like a throw everything at the wall, see what sticks kind of character.
Yeah, he's not a horror YouTuber is different to the first movie.
He's dabbled. He's followed different trends and had limited success.
Right.
He does like one video which is a historical, kind of like what Rob Gavigan would do. That's Rob Dyke's new handle. I think he changed his name legally, actually. So it's like a historical, this happened to this paratrooper years ago, and here's some spooky pictures with faces in the background. Dun, dun, dun. Then he's doing a video where he's had eye surgery and is temporarily blind, and spooky stuff starts happening in the flat. A mug is seen moving by itself, other spooky things. And Hungry Boy says, well, a bad Scots accent is almost the worst media accent. Fake Irish accent rules the roost. Terrible, though. I would concede it's probably pretty hard to nail if you're not from there, or at least from the, surrounding area. I don't know. Mike Myers does it pretty well, by all accounts, but I think he must have someone Scottish in his family. Or that's one accent he can do, and he'll do it for every single film he's in if no one will stop him. Spooky, I'm a ghost. How many people have we got in the chat? It's not telling me on StreamYard.
There was 9 when I left.
9? That's not bad. Considering I didn't advertise. Anyway.
Well, people will watch it in the future, so it's all right.
So the haunting gets him some attention, and another YouTuber gets involved, Steve, who his whole channel is paranormal investigations, with which, it's very hit and miss on his channel.
All he sees is dollar signs.
Exactly. That's his whole, So he comes to their house, and so far it's been a very, like a low budget YouTuber, put the camera on the table and then maybe I'll carry it around. But for this seance that they do, it is a full 360 video that Steve arranges, because I guess he's got beaucoup de subscribers that, and, he can maybe, so the technology goes up a notch. I believe I did a little research on this movie, and apparently that was all done in one take with a real 360 camera. So a lot of the effects you see were done in camera, like practical effects for that scene, which is impressive. But
you could just, tie strings around things.
Oh, look, again, I don't know how.
Moved. Oh no! Ah.
Exactly. Well, that's the conceit of the film, isn't it? You don't know what's going on. How much is, obviously faked on purpose. We'll get to that. But yeah, this seance scene is kind of interesting. Stuff is happening, unbelievably. Seems to be the real deal. And Steve himself says this is kind of unusual for him. Usually it's like, if you see a curtain billow, that's a big day in paranormal investigations. But they have a very, very productive seance. And obviously this gets the channel a bunch of attention. This is where this Alice chick comes in, the debunker. It's film documentary style, like they're interviewing people after the fact, not Graham. And obviously with the movie being titled Death of a Vlogger, you're led to assume the worst. So his girlfriend, this Steve character, they talk to Alice, and she describes previous debunkings and how she has no tolerance for internet fakery when it involves the paranormal. And there's something to be said for that, because apparently people in the comments are getting super involved, like, I guess this proves there are ghosts and I can talk to my relatives. Which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't feel like Graham and that lot were intentionally trying to deceive people. Obviously there was some monetization going on, but actually convincing people of the paranormal.
When he first goes back to his house, and his female acquaintance, I don't know if she's a girlfriend or a friend, whatever, she's kind of leery to go there. And then when they get to his apartment, everything's just
there's a scene they come back and it's trashed. And
he's as cool as a cucumber, and she's losing her shit, and it's like, wait,
I've been robbed. That's weird.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's crazy. My TV's upside down.
Someone disliked the stream. Hey! Diversity of opinion.
Welcome.
These things sound kind of interesting, actually. The movies, I'd recommend you check them out. They're both on Amazon, I think. Yeah,
if you have Prime, it's free.
We can go get a free trial, like we presumably did. Personally, I'd rather listen to an hour of bad Scots accent with crappy CGI effects, with awful haunting cliches and tired tropes, tired in capitals, than 5 minutes of Valley Girl / Kim K vocal fry. Yeah, I guess that can grate on some people. Yeah, to each their own. Yeah. I guess they've also been successful, so I can't bash them. Whatever works, I suppose. They've found a market. Which are rife in modern creepy stuff. The vocal fry? That's interesting. Anyway. Yeah. So Alice has a secretly filmed meeting with them. She has a pencil case cam and another camera off to the side. It's all very believable, and they're filming it from their side, so we've got multiple angles, which is convenient. I kicked the door, excuse me. But yeah, she catches them saying that if Alice knows that they faked it, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, which from her point of view, that's the smoking gun. That must be very satisfying. So yeah, obviously that's controversy for Graham, which is another. I suppose both of these films have elements of social commentary in a way. don't be a douchebag, and
YouTubers are obnoxious.
yeah, less than scrupulous practices, which I've touched on before. But this is kind of different. Like this is, fakery for the sake of views and monetization, that kind of thing. At least with the previous lot, yeah, they're filming without permission and all this nonsense, but they're not trying to fake anything, as far as we can tell. So yeah, well, that's topic for debate, I suppose. Like,
yeah,
which is
the first guy has a lack of sensitivity to him. Where I fell asleep after the seance on the second one, so I can't really compare the two. But
okay, well,
there's a certain lack of sensibility to them, which is, I guess, a commentary on that element of horror YouTubers.
They do comment on this kind of thing, just to give it some more. What's a synonym for gravitas? I've been using that word a lot in the stream.
What about cinnamon?
Synonym for to give this mockumentary Death of a Blogger some weight. They bring in this 40-year-old Irish bastard who's a social media scholar of some description, and he talks about social media addiction and how even when attention towards you turns negative, you're still addicted. So it's just this negative feedback cycle which can send people into spirals of despair. And he also brings up this woman. He doesn't mention her by name, but I know she's a performance artist, a live art performance artist from Serbia called Marina Abramovic. I think the piece she did was called Rhythm Zero, and basically she stood still in a room for 6 hours, surrounded by various random objects like a feather, perfume, paint, scissors, knives, and a gun loaded with 1 bullet. And she let the audience just do whatever they want. And at first they were just kind of like, oh, I'm going to stroke you with a feather. I'm going to give you a kiss. But by the end, they were like chopping her clothes off. Someone picked up the gun and pointed it at her. And another audience member had to, dude, it's performance. Don't fucking shoot the woman. I forget the point of his bringing that up, but I was really annoyed that he didn't mention Marina by name.
Well, they can't. It's like the other one. They could casually, yeah. They have to because if they reference real life stuff, they have to get clearance. And
I suppose
they're not going to.
Yeah, the whole Rhythm Zero performance was like animated. I suppose that's where a lot of the budget went, was getting these animated segments for social media scholar guy. But the point he was making was that when we become social media influencers or content creators, we open up this social contract with the world that potentially we're inviting in abuse. And that's what Graham has to learn the hard way. So he makes an apology video kind of saying, look, I was kind of pressured into this by people close to me, but I didn't mean to scam anybody. And yeah, this kind of half-assed apology, which he monetized, by the way. And people on the mockumentary being interviewed are like, but the weirdest thing is he was continuing the ghost shit in the background. There's a weird shadow and this picture frame moves and we don't know why he's doing it. Kind of weird, Graham. And much of the rest of the excuse me, much of the rest of the movie is Graham obsessively filming himself for more evidence. He kind of goes in a downward spiral. The hauntings increase. His friends kind of retreat, and Steve reveals his true colors, as someone who's primarily motivated by making juicy content. But eventually Graham's presumed to be attacked by this ghost, and he's taken out of the haunted flat for a while, and he's given the help he needs. But Alice comes in, and she says, I think even all of this was staged, because this, and this in the background. And it's kind of ambiguous. And then we have the final scene, which is even more ambiguous, which I'm not going to spoil. I mean, the title is a little bit of a clue.
Whoa.
Whoa. But this was a very different movie. I think even from the little you've seen, you could tell it was very, very low budget. And probably intentionally so, to give it more realism.
Yeah, there's a problem with that, though. As far as a storytelling device, when you're going in and out, like
thank you, Leslie.
The first movie was it went the route of unfollowed.
Uh-huh.
What's the one where it's everything's in computer, like you're in somebody's
I want to say it's unfriended or friend request.
oh,
Or,
unfriended, yeah.
yeah.
Whereas the second one, it's a documentary, but you're actually watching the footage, and it's never really clear what the
the implication is that it's like made for TV or Netflix or whatever.
Right.
There's post-production, there's animated segments, all sorts.
Yeah.
We're shown like past sketches of Graham's, and obviously a lot of the footage that he's shot in past tense, obviously, like retrospectively, it's shown to us. So the film is kind of leading us narratively in a certain direction. It's framed in a certain way.
Right.
I don't know. I've lost my words.
That's my problem.
Oh, people are being nice in the chat. Abramovic is the Sarkisian of the fine arts world, yet with a soul. Yeah, she's been doing some more commercial stuff lately with, I think, Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, but her early stuff is very, very risky, dangerous, very, I don't know, very poignant, interesting, horrifying to see, which I think is the point.
She's much better live. You got to see her live.
Exactly. You do. The whole thing with live art is that you can record it, but the recording is not the performance. You do have to be there and see it. Like the artist, that was the name of one of her performances. The artist is present, and that's the whole point. That you're in the room with the artist. They're not playing a part. They're being themselves. I did a live art module in university, so going off on one, but yeah, I've done a little bit of it myself, and yeah, it's a weird kind of form of theater. And in her case, she's done suicidally stupid stuff to make her artistic point, and then did a thing with Jay-Z all of a sudden. Kind of strange. The Abramovic slapping thing is very confronting. The slapping thing. Okay. All this is a bit of old hat after Ghost Watch from British TV, live TV, which is, yeah, that was, yeah, people really thought that was real. From what I've seen, I haven't seen Ghost Watch in its entirety, but yeah, they got real presenters. They got, what's his face, Craig Charles, interviewing people. It seemed they were doing their best to convince you that this was all a real program.
Didn't both movies have a title card in the beginning that said this really happened? Everything you're about to see actually happened.
I didn't see the very, very beginning of Followed, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, they probably have some kind of
yeah, deceptive, like Blair Witch Project did it way better.
Yeah. Even though the actors then turned up on late night TV.
Well, yeah, this is pre-social media, so they were doing a pretty decent job of making it making the lines blurry, where you just know, like, all right, there's no way.
Yeah. I should really watch Ghost Watch just to see if it holds up. Yeah, what else can I say about this one? Because I know you haven't seen it all, obviously.
Yeah, I fell asleep on the seance.
The characters, I don't know if they're compelling, believable necessarily. Not really. That's kind of where it falls down. And like you said, the effects, there's not a lot of studio polish, which some would argue is distracting in its own way. But in this one, there's a Japanese ghost, basically a Sadako ripoff, running around with a very obvious like black wig that's not convincing. And she doesn't have any ghostly movement or posture about her. She's literally just an extra in a white dress and a wig. Just ugh.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So
I think as films, these movies don't work. And if this were, say, a YouTube channel, like you said, Marble Hornets before, if they tried to pass it off as, just content, it might fly.
I think you're right. Yeah,
You'd have to like invest time into this.
it would work a lot better as an ARG, but I think it would lose that whole
What's ARG?
alternate reality game. Like Marble Hornets was immersive in a way. Like comments were disabled on the videos themselves, which stopped people going, "Oh, Slendy looks like a fucking mannequin." But you could interact with the characters on their Twitter accounts and you know, foresee certain events, and there was stuff teased, and they did your best. They did their best to convince you that this stuff was really properly happening.
Yeah.
Whereas this, with the documentary format, I don't know if the terrible effects like this Sadako ripoff, if they can defend that by saying, oh well, obviously that was faked too, or maybe was it? I don't know. Like if it looks shit, then maybe that's on purpose. But
right, yeah. But again, that's where, you know, as a movie it falls apart. But if you put it on YouTube as, you know,
yeah, then your suspension of disbelief is yeah.
You have to invest a bit of time there. I mean, where you don't have the budget to make a great movie, you can really stretch the believability of the characters or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
I don't know if people are convinced by Lilac, but I do my best to make her as real a presence as possible. Anyone can see it's just fucking liquid latex and an ice cream cone that I painted. But
it's you 3 times over, first of all, but yeah, they should have an idea. If they think there's 3 people in this house that look like you,
it's just pretend. Yeah. If it's online, yeah, they could definitely do that. Cinematography was interesting. It was a little too dialed down. It's wildly different to the previous one, which had all the budget and all the production. They're kind of opposites, really, and they were saying very different things about, you know, creepy YouTube content creation, which I thought was interesting, and that was why I wanted to make this video, I suppose, which is coming up in an hour. We'll probably end it when it gets to an hour, but
what's SCP stuff?
So the SCP is like it's similar to creepypasta, which is, you know, short online horror stories that get passed around and mimicked and expanded upon. So the SCP Foundation is a fictional foundation which secures, contains, and protects weird, supernatural, or unnatural objects and creatures, and they're all listed with different names. Like SCP-173 is this statue character that won't move while it's in direct eyesight, but if you blink, it will like teleport closer to you, and eventually will just snap your neck. It's hard to remember because they go by numbers and different classifications depending on how dangerous they are. But that's its own little, like, people can contribute and make up their own monsters and this kind of thing. Oh, this one is a house that's made entirely of flesh furniture on the inside. Or this is a kitten that's too cute. Or this is a reptilian creature that can adapt and speak, and it's very creepy, you guys. So I'm not totally familiar. It's quite a rabbit hole to get into, but what I've seen is creepy, and there's video games based on it and all sorts.
Yeah, it's quite a rabbit hole.
Yes.
A sane clown posse. Yeah. Scottish Charles Patterson.
The horror. More Braggett haunts CP and Embo on their honeymoon. That's a horror movie which would make money. We've done the honeymoon. Well, kind of. Did we have one officially? I don't know. Like,
yes. No.
But I can picture Braggett hijacking the event, I suppose, because she fancies you. There are levels. Some are safe and some can't be contained.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't they get declassified prison personnel or death row inmates to serve as their staff or something? You know, people who won't be missed if something bad happens to them, kind of thing. It's like Ghostbusters, but online.
So,
Sane clown posse.
So what is it? It's like a web series, or is it?
I think there's an official site.
A blog, or like
something like that. Yeah,
technically
kind of click through. Yeah, it's just a rabbit hole, basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to, like, the Marble Hornet stuff. I watched maybe 5 minutes of one after you reviewed it, and I was like, "No, I'm not I'm not investing jack shit into this fucking thing."
It is one hell of an investment. I
Yeah.
recommend, there's a YouTuber called Nightmind who reviews stuff like this, like Lasagna Cat and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which I've also covered.
Mhm.
Stuff like this, like one-off internet creepiness in video form, or you know, more long-winded stuff like this. He covers what do you fucking call it?
Garbage.
He covers Marble Hornets pretty extensively, all the plot points, all the stuff you might have missed. I don't know if you'd be missing the horror if you just watch his videos without seeing the series.
Mhm.
Maybe there's some nice person out there who's condensed it down to the most salient episodes of Marble Hornets, so you skip all the wandering through trees. I don't know, but
The condensed Marble Hornets.
it's pretty good, the story, if you can suspend your disbelief. And
I couldn't.
no, well, fair enough. It's a hell of a lot better than any of the Slenderman movies that have come out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think if me as a stupid teenager, if you know, I were a teenager today, how much of this I would buy into, and I'd probably.
I mean, teenagers have. You've heard about the Slenderman
Yeah,
stabbings,
the two
obviously,
girls. Yeah.
which is why the last Slenderman movie, post that, was a little ill-advised.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Slenderman's just been kind of ruined for everybody now. And I don't know, maybe that's why we haven't had a lot of creepypasta movies of late, because, you know, reasons of sensitivity, or maybe we've just moved past that as an internet.
I don't think they work as films. I think, like I said before, they work as like long form art where you're investing a couple of weeks, months, years into these vloggers.
If it's online, then maybe it exists, or maybe someone at least believes it does. That's the whole, that's the allure with these. I guess it's a modern version of folklore, I suppose, except it's been allowed to mimetically spread, and there's fan works and all sorts. Like, I don't know. There's a whole dissertation you could probably write on this if you were interested. Channel Zero was great. Channel Zero, was that another ARG or something? I'm drawing a blank on that one.
So Ben followed up. He said, turn creepypastas into series.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's that channel that does, short films with pretty high production value and that kind of thing. I've been meaning to get more into horror short films, but often if they look too polished, in a way, I find myself being less interested in them. I don't know, like, oh, clearly that's made in a computer. I don't know. Once you've seen one kind of gangly cryptid, you've seen them all in a way. Sometimes there'll be one that surprises me, but more often than not, it's same old, same old. I shouldn't be a horror channel. I'm way too hung up on the tropes. And then the ghost turns up again. Predictable. Seen it.
Yeah, you have a lack of wonderment.
In a way, I wish I was more like, yeah, he killed him with a chainsaw this time. I wish I could enjoy them on that level. I really do. I'm sorry, but these two movies, we just happened to see them, and I thought they were interesting enough to make a video about. Thank you for joining me. So I wasn't just blethering on my own.
Well, yeah, you know, whatever. I didn't see the second one, so I saw some of it, which is weird because I'm trying to think if we watched via my uncle or I'm trying to figure out how the second one was suggested after watching the first one. We watched Followed, which technically they both say that as far as Amazon is concerned, they're both 2020 movies, which is kind of weird. If you watch Followed, you'll get suggested Death of a Vlogger within 10 hits.
Yeah. So on some level, they're aware of, like, if you liked this, you might also like this. Oh, it was okay. I heard it was presented at a couple of film festivals, so hopefully this means good things for Graham, and he can continue to make interesting low-budget Scottish films. I don't know. If you like low-budget found footage type fare, you might enjoy the second film. But
I'm telling you, it's people got to invest. Like, if I wanted to just shut my channel down and then kill myself via found footage things, I'd have to totally, like I could probably do it, like start killing myself off on.
I'm just thinking at the end of the Truman Show, like, oh, CP's gone. All right, what's on this channel?
Yeah, like it still can happen. You just have to invest time in it, or go to great lengths creating the universe of these characters. Like you said, some of them have a social media presence, so that would films like this, I don't think are. I don't think they succeed well in the film world as much as they would on YouTube or
I think you're right. That's where the audience is.
Right.
Your target demographic for this kind of thing.
I mean, they're not mocking, but tribute to that style of whatever.
All right. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on this video. No. If these films sound interesting to you, I do recommend you check them out. Obviously, form your own opinions. A couple of the reviews for both these films were kind of divisive, but yeah, make up your own mind about these.
Yeah,
you might like them.
Always make up your own mind. Always.
Yes. Obviously, me talking about what happens isn't going to give you the same experience.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was watching you before, I was like, ah, shit, I could have, if you have pictures to go up with, or if you take this video down and then throw small video clips up over what you're talking about,
or glitchy effects, like being possessed.
Fucking editor and just.
I mean, if I give you the once we're done, you could take this video and do whatever the fuck you want to it, put it on your channel with all the editing. It's up to you. I guess we can probably wrap it up from here. I think we've said all we wanted to say. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to see if anybody in the chat has any suggestions based on what we were talking about, or
so similar type fare, or any I don't know, similar. I was going to say exactly the same thing.
Right? Found footage.
Sure. Found footage, mockumentary style horror, internet based, what have you.
Yeah. What's your favorite shitty douchebag who covers real? There's that. I think, what is he, Scottish? That I was watching him for a while. The guy with the glasses.
What guy with the glasses?
Maybe he wasn't Scottish. Maybe he was a form of British. He was definitely from that area.
Oh, I know the one you mean. Yeah, that he's cracking wise about real murder cases.
Yeah, girl get raped and murdered, and he's like, oh,
well, she
would hate to be in her shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Like what he's talking about is interesting, but like, can you not crack wise?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he blurred the line between.
I can't remember his name, but
neither can I. I was watching him for a hot minute too. I watched like 10 of his videos. And
yeah, well, like BuzzFeed Unsolved do a similar thing where Shane and the other guy, I forget their names, but they'll talk about real hauntings or real spooky events, like the Elisa Lam case or the radioactive woman, whatever it is. And they'll throw their own jokes in there, and they'll be like, yeah, hey demons, it's your boy Shane. Just being wise asses.
Yeah.
So I don't really watch those.
Yeah. Pete has him. His name is Mike. He looks but 20.
Yeah.
And he just talks about stuff. It's adorable, some of the stuff. Hearing him talk about Long Island, like it's a town in New York.
Yeah. You watching this like, I was in Poughkeepsie. You How dare you? I'm sorry, most of this stream has just been shit talking other YouTubers.
Yeah, fuck it.
Rare chance to talk about our domain as it pertains to horror movies.
Well, yeah, I was like, that's all I was doing during the first one. I was like, wait, what? They don't have synced cameras, and they're going to give the footage to the editor to upload at the same time?
Yeah, sure.
No. Sorry, no.
There's one called The Mirror, where these guys buy a haunted mirror from YouTube and do a continuing live stream about it. Oh, a little bit like Oculus? That sounds cool. Live stream about a Twitch streamer that has some stuff happen during one of his live streams. That could be interesting.
Again, it's something that if you had a Twitch, if you just wanted to invest time in it, you could just start a Twitch channel and just have to eat shit for a little bit and just be boring.
Yeah.
And then, you know, every now and again, you just have something weird happen.
Some people have done that. They've started fairly innocuous channels and then turned spooky. And there's, you know, debate, obviously, with whether they're doing it on purpose or I could throw out some names, but I don't want to I don't know, shame anybody or invite people to go attack them, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, John's here. I got here late. Looks like I've missed basically all of it, but gonna watch it from the beginning in the morning. Oh, that's great. Sorry you missed it, obviously, but I hope you enjoy the watch through again tomorrow. My friend swears Mike's actually an Irish lesbian.
Yeah. There's a I don't know if I should say this. He does have a certain oh yeah.
Is it the hair?
Yeah, it's
we're gonna get in trouble now.
Yeah, he's got a look to him that I don't know, a bad dice rolling cover band is what I would call him. I love Dice. I don't mean that as fuck it, I just walked myself and whatever.
No, Dice absolutely rocks that haircut.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad cover band.
Fair play to them. If they're successful making spooky content, then who am I to judge? I suppose. There's definitely an audience for it, and if you enjoy watching their content, I guess that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Just it would be nice if, when real people have died, especially recently, you know, remember that they're real people and pay them due respect. I suppose that's the takeaway in this. Do you have a favorite true story channel like Mr. Nightmare Corpse Husband? I do like Corpse Husband, and I do like oh god, I've forgotten his name. Lazy Masquerade. I watch a fair bit. Those kind of channels, I find them pretty good. My name is Spooks. Did I read that right? All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Sipo, for jumping in and
I live here,
raising the quality of my streams as always. No, you stop it. Spooky Rice. Oh yeah. What's the other guy's name? I can't remember. We better wrap this up. All right. Braggart for British PM. Oh dear. Can you imagine? All right. I hope you all have a nice evening. Videos coming soon, obviously. Probably all at once. And I'll be working on some stuff on my Patreon as well. You got anything coming up on your channel?
Show business tomorrow night.
Hey.
My top.
You love show business.
My year in film is probably coming out soonish, if I can record it with the damn people downstairs. Cool.
Yeah. If you need me help with that, let me know.
Yeah, we could discuss this later, you know.
Okay. Have a good evening. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Toodles.